Welcome to Season 5 of the To Health With That podcast, where we break up big health topics like MTHFR into small bites. I'm your host, naturopathic Dr. Amy Newsel. This season, the spotlight is on you and all of the people like you who are living their lives every day with MTHFR. We're focusing on your stories, and I can't wait to hear them. This week, we are talking with Karene, who is kind enough to come on the show and share her experience after really, truly having found out about MTHFR for a week. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Oh my God, I love that you're here. This is amazing. Right, because that first time period is so vulnerable and so hectic. So tell me everything about how you discovered this, what kind of prompted you to look?
Well, I was recently diagnosed ADHD, and I'm 47. I've always known, but I wanted to do it for my son to affirm him and to really walk the journey with him. And when the psychiatrist had said, like, why don't you take the swab, and then it will tell you what medications will resonate better with you and what not to take. I didn't get the confirmation until a week ago about looking at my test results. I have the variant. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my goodness. If I have double, that means my son has it. And then it all, everything like dominoed effect in my head. And I was like, well, that makes sense, because it's been a very long journey with my son. I really feel he hasn't been able to process a lot of nutrition. Like his nutrition has always been an issue. And we come from very tall families, both sides. And I could tell that his body's like wanting to grow, and there's just something clouding it. So that's kind of that's where I'm at with all this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, in ADHD, it's one of the things that I think is such a strong red flag with MTHFR. It's a huge problem in our community.
Well, I mean, as a parent, I'm trying to do everything I can to build this child up. And if I don't have all the pieces,
Yes.
extremely frustrating. It's extremely challenging too, because you try to work with your pediatricians and their hands are tied because they're limited in what they can give and take. And I just, so I'm just so grateful that we met.
Oh, amazing. This is so exciting. So, and you've started a product. Tell me what you've started.
It's called L-methyl folate, 5 MTHF plus methyl B12. So it has 15 milligrams per dose. So it's like 10 droplets. And it's cherry flavor. So my kids actually do it. So all 4 of my kids have been giving them underneath the tongue in the morning. I'm trying to digest all this information and really
A lot.
it is a lot. And you wonder what to take and what not to. And I think that we're in this era of constantly being bombarded of radios and social media. And it's just, it's a lot for, your everyday. Here every mom. So I've tried this now for, I have my calendar right here. I'd say since the 14th.
Amazing. So 7 days right on.
7 days, yes. And I do notice a little difference with Luke. Luke's my strongest one that presents. But I have to probably give it like a good month.
So where are you at with diet as a family?
So with diet, I just finished a 30-day cleanse, like anti-inflammatory.
Oh my goodness, amazing.
So basically with that, it's no dairy, no gluten, no soy, right?
Incredible.
All my kids followed. But of course, they were living it like 80-20.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because of just life. But I myself did it to the T. But now we're kind of living that 80-20 lifestyle. I'm trying not to let gluten in the house, but dairy is back in that we're at. But I noticed that the gluten is it's a big one, more so than dairy.
Gluten is a big one. And with MTHFR, we have to be worried too about folic acid in things. They add it to like fortified flour, enriched flour. So in the US, like all bread products, cereals, everything like that has folic acid added, and we can't process it. With MTHFR, we can't process it. It actually makes us worse.
Can you explain the folate issue?
So folate comes in different forms, and the one you're holding in your hand is the active form. So it's already gone through the MTHFR enzyme. So that form is already good to go. Folic acid, actually, there's research now that shows it blocks the MTHFR enzyme. So for people with MTHFR, it's doubly important to kind of keep the folic acid out, which is hard because it's in every damn thing, right? Like it's breads, pasta, cereal, cookies, pastries, all the things. The synthetic folic acid that they add to food is very different than like the folic acid that's in lentils or spinach or mangoes, right?
Okay. And that's okay.
That's great. Yes. We do really well with that type.
Okay. I didn't, my son always like loves beans, loves like
Yeah. Well, he needs the folate in him. He needs that natural. So that's his body being like, yes, I can use this, right?
Yes, that makes sense. Okay. And what about dairy? How big is that in the spectrum of when you're trying to really
Yeah.
feed these these guys with the MTHFR?
For MTHFR, dairy is less important. Some of us are sensitive to it. And if that's the case, then it matters to keep it out. But a lot of us tolerate dairy just fine. So yeah, dairy, unless they have a reaction, is probably fine.
Yeah. Okay. Have you noticed that there's a correlation with being overloaded? But it sounds like yes.
I mean, definitely with being overloaded, right? So the thing that usually happens with MTHFR is that people are like pretty normal up until that point, right? In adults, it's usually like there was one thing that was like the last straw. So I got a virus and then everything fell apart. And then after that, it's like they're just never well. Everything falls apart. They don't feel good. Nothing's working right. And it's like, that was the moment, right? That was the moment where it just became too much.
Okay.
But also within the community, what we're finding is so many of us are neurologically sensitive. You know, like I definitely, if I read about highly sensitive people, okay, yeah, hands out. That's
Yep.
me.
Yeah. See, I've known that since I was like 10, but yeah. So, but I do feel the anti-inflammatory, like in my experience, that's a game changer for sure.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
All the chronic issues of health.
Well, and it makes you realize how much our diet is truly foundational, right?
And it's like I've now looked at food of like, do I want this, or can I afford to have this part of my body? And that was the biggest magnum opus, at least for my children, is diet. When I die, what can I leave my children?
Yeah. Well, that's amazing.
And I think that's the more education, the actual role modeling, right? Like, healthy choices. That's what changes our lives.
That's incredible. And it's such a gift to your kids. It's very
It's
difficult.
a learning curve, and it really stunts the health of your generations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I truly feel that. And my mom did an excellent job with educating us. I remember she would tell us, put milk of magnesia on your armpits as I was a teenager. And I'm like, what? That is so gross, Mom. I don't understand. She goes, do you know how many people are going to get breast cancer at your age?
Yes.
Because you should not be putting aluminum in your glands.
Smart lady.
So I have this like revolving question in my head of like, well, how much does this kid need? What are the steps I can take to detoxify him so that he can process this faster?
Yeah. So that one processes fast anyway. Like that one completely bypasses the MTHFR enzyme. So he is getting it, which is amazing. But you do have to watch dose. So it's really important to ask him to check in with his body, because for some of us, it builds up and it's too much, right? Like we feel the sort of overload. And usually those symptoms look like restless energy or bad energy. Like it feels like too much caffeine where you just can't wind down.
Even if they have an ADHD brain where, how a neurotypical person, you can give them caffeine, right? And then, they'll be fine. But a ADHD, person, you give them caffeine and they'll go to sleep. So my question is, does this play effects like that to
It can. Yeah. And for some ADHD brains, it makes it way better, right? Like where they're like, oh, okay, I can calm down, right? Like I feel
okay,
good.
so and I can ask him, I can say, Luke, how is this making you feel? Like,
Exactly.
and I do check in with him. And I also, pardon me, another product that I use, is the Zeolite.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so are you familiar with the Zeolite?
Zeolites, yeah, they're wonderful detox. I really like zeolites and clay generally, like any
Yeah.
sort of like bentonite clay, anything like that.
Oh,
That's great. I think it's a great detox tool, and it's something that you can use really safely with MTHFR because instead of forcing his liver to do the work, you're actually just like catching toxins and binding them and pulling them out. So,
okay.
so it's actually a really great detox and for kids too, right?
Got it. Okay. And so for like this one is it's like 10 drops. He's like about 110 pounds, right?
Does it say how many milligrams of folate or micrograms or
Yeah.
whatever?
It says 25 milligrams of DFE.
Okay, that's actually a really big dose.
Oh, 25 milligrams for folate? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And B12 is like 1,000 mcgs.
Okay. Okay. The B12 is also a big dose, but B12 we don't absorb very well, like orally or even swallowed or anything like that. So that one I'm less worried about. But the folate is a really high dose.
But
If they're tolerating it, if your kids are tolerating it and feeling well with it and not getting that like hyper caffeinated feeling, they're doing great, right? They're doing
oh,
great. For sure. And we're really variable, right? I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to take that. That would be too much for me. But some people can take double that and be fine. So you just never know.
Yes.
They'll go by how they feel and how they respond to it.
Okay. And is it something that does this build in their system?
It does. So it's water soluble. And so doctors say things like, oh, it can't accumulate. But clinically, what I see is that the longer you're taking it, that there can be an accumulation. And also your body kind of adjusts to a different level. One thing I do always suggest is taking weekends off of supplements just because, breaks in anything are really good. So that your body still stays sensitive. So I always do weekends off of supplements and just little supplement breaks so that it's still fresh. It's still new.
Okay. I will do that because that makes sense. And it's like when you're working out, right? You work out and then you shift gears and you do something else because, our bodies get complacent.
Yes, 100%. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We need that variety and we need that change.
Yes.
Wow. I will be so excited to hear what you notice in your family in like 3 months.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, let's do this again. 3 months. I want to hear what's going on. And if you can get the folic acid out too, right? Like
Yeah.
not out of the house, I think that'll be a big shift for your family.
Also, I feel very blessed to have met you and just thank you so much. God bless you with what you're doing because our community needs it.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great to hear. And I am so grateful to you for sharing your story. Thank you so much for listening this week. If today's guest consented to share the full-length interview on YouTube, then you can find it on the channel at To Health With That, TOHEALTHWITHTHAT. If you would like to share your MTHFR story, please sign up on the scheduling link in the show notes. I would love to talk with you. Thank you for listening.